It took everything that I had, yeah. Walked away, but you left one thing behind. You're wondering just what that is. Yes, you are. Well, the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking. When the wall comes tumbling down, I'll be there. When the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking. We're gonna make a little love down by the water. Maybe I'm the sun, maybe I'm a daughter. When the music man calls, that's when I gotta play. So I burn for the things I never had. I'm burning with hate, with love. Spin around. 'Cause as a boy I had a dream. Carry it with me today. Yes, I do. When the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking. When the walls come tumbling down, I'll be there. When the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking. When the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking. When the wall comes tumbling down, I'll be there. Hey, 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 hey. When the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking. When the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking.
Giotto's is so good. These chocolates are what? Chocolates? We're here about astrophotography. What are we doing? Wrong video. Whoops.
Over me, got a way of your own. But I told you that life ain't a fantasy. Now I watch you every day. Turn it up, it's just your way. Rocket fuel runs through your brain. Like I told you on the train, that it's the only thing she knows. The only thing she knows. The only thing she knows. That it's the only, 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 only thing she knows. She knows. So it started to rain. Met a woman with eyes like a hurricane. Told her she was the one. And she looked at the moon, calling me and said, now I watch you every day. Turn it up, it's just your way. Rocket fuel runs through your brain. Like I told you on the train. Well, it's the only thing she knows. The only thing she knows. The only thing she knows.
What's wrong with my telescope now? Damn, what's wrong with this thing?
The lost Lone Ranger, can I break this spell? You want things right, who I make you do things wrong. If I want that fine line, who I will always take the fall. If I just do them, I can hear from the right. I sleep all day long, and I'm breathing through the night. I've seen a lot of bankers, and I've seen a lot of cops. I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I felt a lot of women refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money, whatever else spring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. 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 Guitar Players Planet.
It's gotta mean something. It's gotta.
Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of new. Oh, na 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 na. I have lost my friend. Got the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must go back before it's too late. You're afraid, you're feeling alone. Time and space can never hold. The holidays can ring in your fear. The ghostly embrace can only mean tears. And I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to lands of new. Oh, na 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 na. Sitting at the lake, I'm feeling confused, but I had my guitar, so I played this blues. But I'm afraid, the world might be true, that I might never be back again. Seems to me that I've lost my friend. Got the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must be back before it's too late. Before it's too late. Someone to take me down at night. Someone to make my day. New revelation fills my soul. Oh, I can waste away. You distracting my attention. You're all that's on my mind. You not looking for perfection, but you're too hard to find. Now the first night is coming, and I know what to do. You know that nothing feels sweeter than someone
So it's a wonderful night tonight. It's really good. You know, cloudy nights and not cloudy nights, but clear dark sky was it clear outside. Says it's going to be a wonderful night tonight. I mean, tonight, last night was wonderful. Tomorrow's supposed to be great. So I think I'm going to leave my telescope out all night, and it's going to be a really nice night tonight. So I'm hoping to get some really good shots of the Cave Nebula, which is part of my astrophotography meets D&D imaging. I know it's kind of looks scary, like the way I look at my eyes, kind of crazy. It's pretty cool, but I'm super excited for tonight, and let's see what kind of data I got. Well, yeah. Dirty. I swear to God, these clouds are just pissing me the off. I don't understand. I don't listen to these things anymore. I can't take it. New York, you suck. And you know what? I'm so done with all this. My telescope's out here, chilling out, and all I got is freaking clouds and PhD peeping at me from no goddamn end. Unbelievable. What am I going to do? I need to move. I'm so finished with this. I hate this.
Took everything that I had, yeah. Walked away, but you left one thing behind. You're wondering just what that is. Yes, you are. Well, the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking. When the wall comes tumbling down, I'll be there. When the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking. We're gonna make a little love down by the water. Maybe have a son, maybe have a daughter when the music man calls. That's when I gotta play. So I burn for the things I never had. I'm burning with hate, with love. Spin around, round. 'Cause as a boy I had a dream. Carry it with me today. Yes, I do. When the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking. When the walls come tumbling down, I'll be there. When the world
Giottos is so good. These chocolates are, what? Chocolates? We're here about astrophotography. What are we doing? Wrong video. Whoops.
Over me, got a way of your own. But I told you that life ain't a fantasy. Now I watch you every day. Turn it up, it's just your way. Rocket fuel runs through your brain. Like I told you on the train, that it's the only thing she knows. The only thing she knows. The only thing she knows. That it's the only thing she knows. She knows. So it started to rain. Met a woman with eyes like a hurricane. Told her she was the one. But she left at the moon, calling me and said, now I watch you every day. Turn it up, it's just your way. Rocket fuel runs through your brain. Like I told you on the train. Well, it's the only thing she knows. The only thing she knows. The only thing she knows. That it's the only thing she knows. Got up on the wrong side and I'm getting burned again. That grass is looking brown today. Well, it's the only thing she knows.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Wednesday night. So what does that mean? We have special guest night at AstroWorld TV. We're here, and for those of you that were going to jump in to be the wingman, thank you for all the offers. But Dave actually jumped in at the last second, so I wasn't ignoring you. It was just I had to get this show all sorted. So thank you everybody. So tonight we're here with Frank. Seti Astro is here tonight, and I know that everybody in the chat and all the peanut gallery out there, Matt and Greg and Wilfredo and Newman. Hello, Newman. Mikey, what's going on? I'm sure everybody has lots of questions, and I'll be relaying them to Frank as they come across. So it's going to be really, really cool to kind of. I know I got plenty of questions because I'm just horrible processing to begin with, but you know. It's going to be a great show, and Frank, thanks so much for coming on and hanging out with us for a little bit, just to teach us a little bit about your scripts and yourself. I mean, thanks for coming on.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. This is only my second one of these, so bear with me if I screw it up.
No, you're
fine.
Listen, we're very laid back here. We'll keep you at ease, and don't worry. These guys might have some difficult questions, but I'm sure you're up to it. It's not a really a big deal. But
Right.
Tell me a little bit about, I mean, we only spoke a little bit via email. I've never met you. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this, and how you eventually evolved into Pix Insight script writing.
Yeah. So here I'll share my screen, and
there you go.
All right. So a little bit about me. I was in the U.S. Navy. I was a nuclear electrician on submarines. Right out of high school, I did that. And then after getting out of the Navy in 2010 is really when I started kind of getting into telescopes and astrophotography and stuff. Currently, I'm in the industrial space. We repair large electric motors and generators, so still staying with my nerdy kind of background here. And yeah, just since 2010, so 14 years, really getting into astrophotography, starting out with just like the really cheapest Celestron, like 50 millimeter kid scope with a point shoot on there, and had a Celestron 8SE, and I ended up building my own wedge for that to take longer exposures. Then onto like a DSLR, and just moving on from there.
Yeah, we all got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, and I think it was good. I didn't get to jump right into a full astrophotography rig. That, I mean, it's so much easier, I think, to enter the hobby right now than 14 or even 10 or 5 years ago, with all the equipment out there that's just come down in price and everything, right, for even brand new stuff. So it's so that's kind of me. If we want to cover like how I got into scripting and stuff, I've used PixInsight for a couple years, and about a year ago I made my website, SetiAstro.com, and started kind of like my YouTube channel, and that was mostly showing what images I was taking and just talking about those, and I slowly built up to tutorials and things like that. And I had somebody ask me about stretching stars. They weren't really good at stretching stars, and after I put out a pixel math tutorial, I realized people hate pixel math and they're not going to use it no matter how much I make a tutorial on it. So I thought, man, I should really just try making a script.
Hey, Frank, I'm sorry to interrupt you. If you could click that little computer button, you still got your computer screen up.
I sure do. So,
okay, all right. I know that's what
I ended up asking ChatGPT if it was familiar with PixInsight, and I figured everybody else was using ChatGPT for like making stories, or like, hey, what should I image? Like everybody did those videos. Sure. So I really started asking it about Java and if it knows how to code and everything else. And I had quite the lengthy conversation.
Oh my goodness.
Just yeah. And on and on and on. The other resource that was really amazing was the introduction to scripting on the PixInsight forum. There's a great video here, which also helped kind of ground me into scripting in PixInsight. So I knew no JavaScript going into this thing. So I really was starting with a blank slate, which may have been a good thing. I didn't know what I could and couldn't do in PixInsight scripting, and it may have let me try to push the boundaries a little bit, but it really got me to like, I need to make a script for the star stretch thing. And that's where I started, like just digging into actually the reference documentation for PixInsight. So the XISF spec, that's the file name that we use in PixInsight, but it's actually a full-blown image specification with everything you need. It's just like an ISO standard for like JPEG or anything, but buried in this document is right here, display function. They go through and tell you what like the midtones transfer function does. So like when you're doing a histogram stretch, here's the equation that's used. Here's how they define clipping functions. Here's how they define expansion functions. And they, kind of just step through what they're doing all the way to the point where this here may not, equation 28 may not look like much to anybody, but that is screen transfer function. When you run an STF, it's doing all this stuff in the background. So that allowed me to like, okay, so this is what it's doing for histogram stretch. Can I make this an analytic solution and make like a slider for a stretch? And you can just, like, if you move the histogram slider down to a quarter and you hit apply, that's what this first one is. You can simplify that down and you come up with this little equation here. Then if you apply it again to the image, what's that do to the image? Well, you get this one, and if you apply it again, so like if you're trying to stretch something from a nonlinear or from a linear state to a nonlinear, and you're just using the histogram transfer function over and over and over again, what's that actually do? And that's how I was able to get like the stretching equations themselves into my scripts, and without having to like apply the process over and over and over again, right? You just set a slider and hit the one button, and it's done with its stretch. So
Yeah.
that was kind of like the base of getting my feet wet in scripting. Was the star stretch script, just to stretch some stars, right? I mean, that's all it is. So here's your slider.
Mm-hmm.
This is the number in there is how many times it would be the equivalent of using histogram transfer function, pulling this, the midtones down to 0.25 and hitting apply. How many times you hit apply is what this actual number represents here. So if you had it dead at 4, it would be hit apply 4 times.
Okay.
But this allows you to slide between any number on there, and just have a nice stretch for your stars.
That's
So
good to know.
really
I always thought that meant how much you want to apply. Like I thought the 0.25 was 0.25, but it's 0.25 every time times that number you slide.
Yeah, and it's actually exponential, right?
Okay.
So
cool.
So as you go beyond 5, and that's why I got this little tool tip here, just says adjust 5 above 5 with caution. It is exponential. So if you blast it all the way up to 8, it looks like when you run an STF on a stars only
after noise reduction or something.
Oh, stars only will always look nasty like that. There's no the median in we could talk about STF if we want to look at statistical stretch. I think a lot of people do use my statistical stretch now as well.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe that's where you first heard of my scripts. And I want to jump back to.
So let me ask a dumb question here. I mean, I had a situation, and actually we did it, Dave. Maybe you could remember what I did to this picture to screw it up. But remember we did the statistical stretch, I think it was, and it came out, all the stars came out purple, or maybe it was the star stretch. Did we do it after?
I think
noise?
You did the statistical stretch. You did it after noise reduction.
It was after noise reduction, right?
Yeah, and it kind of had the similar effect that the STF does after noise reduction.
Yeah.
So, Frank, do you typically do your noise reduction after you stretch it?
No, prior to.
Prior. So you just turn your statistical stretch down, I guess, because if you run noise reduction, I've found you run and you click back on the STF, it blows the picture up.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely what I was going to talk about here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're jumping the gun here.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah. So running STF. Again, it's all defined in the documentation here. There's the mid-tone transfer function that it uses for the stretch. Then it has this clipping function. And how it defines that clipping function is down here. They use something called the median absolute deviation. And then they multiply it by this 1.48. That's supposed to normalize it to like a standard deviation. But the problem with using MAD is our photons entering a telescope are not a normal distribution. It's a Poisson distribution. So when you start getting low noise values, MAD bottoms out. It gets really, really tiny, whereas the standard deviation does not. So when you run STF, all of a sudden on a noiseless image, MAD is going to be very small, really close to the median, and it's going to clip it at that MAD value and stretch the heck out of the histogram. That's why it blows up on you. And I was going to show that here.
Okay.
So I have statistics pulled up, and I gotta show the standard deviation. Okay, so when you're a noisy image, like here's a green channel of Whirlpool Galaxy here, but standard deviation here is the 7916. MAD is 4611, and that's about that. What they had in the documentation, about 1.5 times that 4600 is about that 7900, right? So
Yep.
STF, when it's noisy like that, works just fine. Where it doesn't work fine then is if you then remove the noise. So this is now after noise exterminator.
Mm-hmm.
And now if you look at MAD versus standard deviation,
Yep.
they're almost an order of magnitude different, right?
Okay.
So now when you run STF, the stretch itself is going to be an order of magnitude harder of a stretch, right? So now that's when you go ahead and this was your initial STF. And now when you do it, you get this mess, right?
Yep.
We've all experienced that.
Yep.
And so I wanted a more controlled solution. I wholeheartedly disagree with Pickinsight's use of MAD in this situation, and that's why I came up with statistical stretch.
Okay.
So we could walk through what statistical stretch is actually doing. So here's our linear noiseless image again. I have GHS pulled up here because it gives you this beautiful histogram. We're not going to use GHS, but I'm going to use it for its histogram. And statistical stretch is going to run in 3 steps. The first thing it does is define a black point, just like STF. That, STF uses MAD to define its clipping point. I use standard deviation to define my black point, which I think is more representative of the actual photon statistics coming into our telescopes. Okay. So we run our black point determination first, and now you can see that the histogram slid right over to the left, right? It found the black point. And then it's going to run statistical stretch, and we could talk about what actually goes on with that. And now it moved the median out to whatever the target value was that you had it set in statistical stretch. And if you look at the statistics themselves, the median is now 0.25, 00022. So it really nails what you want for a target median.
Midpoint, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then the last thing is a normalization. All that does is if there's any headroom left between the highest pixel value and 1, if you so choose to do it, it's going to stretch that little bit up to the top. So so your full histogram range is filled, right? So you left nothing on the table. So that's really what statistical stretch is doing. And you can see when we ran that normalization, there was a little bit of a stretch up from the because the brightest pixel wasn't quite at 1, right? So it just filled it up.
So that's like you were explaining in your video. You like if you after your initial stretch, you go to curves to kind of tweak it a little bit.
Right. So now from here's our nice controlled nonlinear image. Now you can go ahead and use GHS or curves or whatever to do those contrasty tweaks. Now I wouldn't use 0.25 for a galaxy like this. I was just using it as a good representative image here just to show everybody. But for discrete objects like this, I would go ahead and use like a 0.10, right? Because now the median is going to be very representative of your background of your image for a small target like that, right? Most of the image is sky, right? Most of this image is not target. So you want your background still to be fairly dark. So like that's why I put in the instructions here. 0.1 is a good starting point for distinct objects like small galaxies or planetary nebula, and then 0.25 is good if you have something that fills the whole image, like you're shooting, I don't know, the Eagle Nebula or something like that, right? The whole image is, the whole image is filled with nebulosity. That's the case where you're probably going to want a 0.25. And then there's a curves boost. We could talk about the curves boost too, but it does have a preview. It has, if you want it to be a linked or an unlinked stretch. And then, so in this case, it's a galaxy. We'll go with the 0.1 and some curves on it. And now that looks a lot better to what you like an initial stretch.
Yeah.
It's fairly dark in the background. The galaxy's still nice there. It didn't blow out the core. So that's really,
it doesn't blow out your star remnants and stuff like that.
Right. And if you remember back on the star stretch, how we derived this equation down here from the histogram stretch, I actually use that in statistical stretch. So this M, we know that that's the target median that the user put into the script. The T is the median value of the image itself. What we want to do is take the median value of the image itself and move it to what the user selected as the target median. So you have to solve for X. And everybody loves giant logarithmic equations. So that's the solution.
Love it.
It does.
It's my favorite thing to do in life.
Yeah. It does simplify it down a bit. And I use Wolfram Alpha to simplify it down a bit. But believe it or not, PixInsight doesn't like a lot of exponentials and logarithms in pixel math. It really bogged it down, and I had to switch over to 64 bits and all that whole mess. But so that's why I can nail what you want for your target median, because it's analytically solved. It just puts it there now. And like all my scripts, you could always go into the history explorer and see what it actually did. So this is stretch. So the image container itself had all those pixel math steps. Here was the determining the black point. Here was the actual stretch.
Cool.
If you had the normalization in it, right? This time we had it off, so it just returned the target. And then in the history itself, we had the curves boost. Here's the curves. Here's the curve it actually used during that curves boost. So running them in scripts, you could always dig into what my stuff did. You could always look under the hood and
that's
see what
awesome.
it is. That curves boost, the number in there, and it may be helpful. It always will put two anchor points, one at the median and one at half the median to anchor the to anchor that noise floor down. And then if you slide it up to, let's say, just 0.1, what it does is it's going to take the next point and move it 1/10 the way up to the top. Or if you move it all the way to 0.3, it's going to move it 1/3 the way up to the top. So in your mind, you can kind of think of how much of a stretch that's actually going to give you. And then there's an extra control point up here. Actually, that was with the help of Bill Blanchin. He liked having a control point up there to make sure you don't clip, right? So no matter how big the curve gets here, there will always be an extra control point up here that also comes up with it, right? But just to make sure you're not clipping.
Cool.
And the last thing I wanted to show you is something like this, right? When you use an STF, this is the same one. This is just a full color image. But now, if you look at the statistics for it, see, I think I had that stretched. Yeah, okay. Now, when you look at the image statistics on the RGB, MAD is almost 2 orders of magnitude tinier than STF. That's why on some of those things, STF really just stretches the heck out of it, right? That's because they're using MAD versus something like standard deviation. So I think that's statistical stretch.
That's good stuff.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. definitely more math than I'm used to, but listen, that's why we got you guys to kind of, like told you offline. It's great that people like yourself and others that write scripts to help us out. And it's amazing that these tools that we have now, because of your hard work and others, it makes processing easier, but it still leaves room for um I guess individual decisions.
Right, and that's what I absolutely wanted. I wanted statistical stretch. Terrible name, by the way. I wish I would have like asked people if what a better name would have been. But I wanted an initial stretch based solely on the image properties to get you to a nonlinear state. So that way, I mean, most of us aren't doing it, but that way, even if somebody in the professional space wanted to use that, because I know professionals use PixInsight, they could use that as their stretch in the literature, right? But now you have a nice base stretch. Now's the time where you could take the artistry and go for it, right? Now bring out GHS or curves and tweak those contrast spots that you want and everything. That's what I was thinking for it.
Yeah, because it's real important sometimes to have that capability to, and this is something we talk about on the show a lot. Sometimes when we have all these wonderful actions and scripts and whatever else is going on, it's so automated to the point where, especially with AI, we're getting to a dangerous part of astrophotography where you're gonna sit there and all of a sudden everyone's gonna use AI the same exact way because that's what AI is telling them to do. And all of a sudden you got everybody with the same picture. So
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of AI, do you want to talk about my automatic DBE? I mean, we could
oh
go
yeah,
there
no,
next.
yeah, let's go. Yeah, absolutely.
So the precursor to ADBE was really like fine background and how that works. And ADBE utilizes a lot of things in there too. So in fine background, a lot of the time, we need a background for running SPCC or color calibration, background neutralization. There's a continuum subtraction. There's a lot of things you need background for, but a lot of time it's hard to know what your background is. So we actually, this was a collaboration script, but what it does is pretend that's your landscape of your image. The high points, right, are brighter areas, and the valleys are all the dim areas of your image. What we essentially do on it is throw a whole bunch of balls on your image and let them all roll downhill.
Okay.
And where it gets to the bottoms, it checks all the ones that where they all land and finds the one that's in the lowest valley and uses that for the background. And the thing it can do is it can get stuck in local minima versus the true lowest one. So you got to put multiple starting points on there and let all those points roll downhill to find the true background. But part of the problem is we have some images like the dark doodad here.
Yep.
That has dark nebula in it. And dark nebula, yes, will be probably the darkest area of your image. It does have the sky glow background in it, but most dark nebula also have a color cast. They're kind of that ruddy, browny red,
Yep.
right? In both fine background and ADBE, you have the option of defining user exclusion areas. Let me just find background here. So you can go ahead and draw areas to exclude from the search. Right. Cool. I don't want to search any of those points.
Oh, that's cool.
That is really cool.
So that will allow it to still operate, but avoid areas that you don't want it to operate in, right? And the thing with fine background is you want to make sure the gradient's gone first. Otherwise, all the balls just roll down towards the gradient.
Makes sense.
So make sure you remove the gradient first. But there's tons of other options on the side here and stuff, but I wouldn't change any of them. I think it was a lot more options than we needed just for finding the background, but they're in there nonetheless.
Okay, that's cool.
And
yeah.
the for gradient removal though is really what we need to talk about. So that's just one point, right? If we want to use something like DBE, which I think will give you the superior result over Graxpert or gradient correction, it's just very time consuming, right? You're trying to find all these points.
Yep.
Are they in the dark region? Are you avoiding a star? You know, is it on nebulosity? So what ADBE does is it first runs ABE just to remove the simple gradient. You can select either here, I'll just open it up. So you could have a degree 1, which would be a linear gradient, like from left to right or up to down. It's just a simple linear gradient, like a moon glow or something. A lot of times, very just linear. If you have a vignetting look to your image, you do a degree 2, right? That'll remove that initial circular gradient first.
Original gradient.
But once that simple gradient's gone, now you kind of have like a flattish image. And now you can go ahead and run gradient descent on many, many paths and let them all roll down to the bottom. And because of how it works, it naturally avoids nebulosity, stars, other bright areas. But the downside is, again, it could roll in these dark nebula, and you don't want DBE thinking the dark nebula is gradient, right? Because it's going to try to brighten it up. So, again, in ADBE, you can go ahead and define exclusion areas again, where it's not going to look in those areas for the gradient correction. There's some other items in here with how it works, because it is running DBE. There's tolerance. With how gradient descent works, it actually calculates its own sample radius for you. It also will look at all the final endpoints and compare the medians between all them and stuff. So it calculates the smoothing for you. If there's big variances in the endpoints, it's going to give you a less smoothing, right? It's going to be, you need more correction, right? If it's nice and smooth across the whole image, it's going to give you a bigger smoothing factor. But you can override all those, right? You just check the thing and change it to whatever you want. But let's just go ahead and run it. I excluded the dark doodad there. Right now, it's just running ABE. When it's done with ABE, it go ahead and it's going to calculate some image statistics for the gradient descent. Now it's running gradient descent on all the number of paths. We had 50 in there, and there's always 12 that go around the outer edge as well. And now it's done. So it shows you the gradient it found. There's the gradient it found. And here's our corrected image.
Wow.
And what I said earlier, it's in the history, right? So if you look in the lower right, it looks like it overcorrected down there, and it's probably because there's this really big bright star right here. So
right in the corner.
Right in the corner. So the first point it tried was right on that star. It rolled off the star, but the star field is so dense here, it just found a dark spot right kind of close to that. So what you could do, and I think it's important for this ADBE, is go ahead and find your history explorer here. We'll just undo once to undo the DBE portion, and you can pull dynamic background extraction out of there, double click it, and it's going to open up all the points and everything.
Oh, wow,
and now we can go ahead and find that point. Here it was,
and move
down here in the corner, and just move it away from there, and click the check again, and everything's still set up the way it was. And now
Oh, wow.
it overcorrect it, right? So it took all the hard work of placing all those points and everything for you out of the equation. It just did it all. And
it totally avoided
this is
the dark nebula.
Yeah. And it totally avoided it, right? Because we told it to avoid that. We put
That's
those
awesome.
exclusion areas in there.
Yep.
And this is going to give you more times than not the better correction than some of the other correction tools. And it could be really easy to see on some of the other images here. If we look at like gradient correction, the process, we'll just run it on like Andromeda here. It does a pretty good job. Oh, let me turn off linked. But you can see right away there's and it looks pretty smooth, but the thing you can always do is go ahead and run. It's going to sound weird. Run ABE on the extracted background model. What we're going to do is we're going to set it to degree 1. We're going to just tell it to correct its subtraction. We don't need the background or anything. What it's going to do is going to remove that simple gradient that gradient correction found, and then we could see truly what gradient correction was correcting on a small scale structure basis. So now when we run STF, this is what gradient correction pulled out of your image. That is not gradient. And this is actually a pretty good image. It could be a lot worse. Gradient correction out of the 3 tools, gradient correction, GraxPert, or running DBE, is the worst at pulling out small scale structure in your image.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people that I've been talking to that have been using GraxPert since it became a process or a script have noticed that it takes away a lot of like small nebulosity.
It can, yeah.
It just crushes it.
So gradient correction by far is the worst, and this is PixInsight's process. Gradient correction by far the worst. GraxPert is kind of next worst, if you want to say that, only because it will remove some of that small scale structure still, but there's no way to exclude areas you don't want it to try to correct. And it's a complete black box, right? Unlike ADBE, where you can exclude areas, and then even if something is a little off, you could open up dynamic background in the history and see what it did. So here's GraxPert. It did a really good job. Maybe overcorrected down here where these bright stars were. And again, we can run automatic background extraction degree 1 to get rid of the linear one and see what small scale structure GraxPert removed out of it. And here's what GraxPert looked like. It's smoother than gradient correction, but still there's definitely stuff that it was pulling out a lot more than just gradient, right?
Yep.
And again, we can go ahead and run ADB on it. And these scripts are there's really no magic in there, right? We're using the good tools in PixInsight, just in a more controlled and automated
smarter way.
Yeah, we know that there's all this dark nebulosity, like in all this stuff here, right? So let's let's just exclude all that. It's a degree 1. Yep, that seems about right. We'll just go ahead and have it executed. We'll see how well that goes. Yeah, so ABE is done. It has to calculate some statistics. Now it's doing gradient descent on all those different paths, letting them roll downhill. And now DBE is done. All right, here's the background it did. And let's go ahead and do the same thing. Like, let's run that degree 1 automatic background extraction on it. Let's just look at the background it found. So this is the small scale structure it removed, and it really isn't, right? This is mostly gradient. It's very smooth, right? There's no little
blotches,
guys in there hidden. Yeah, and here's
big difference.
Wow.
Right. So the dark nebula are still nice and dark. It didn't overcorrect that bright area. For sure, DBE is the way to go for gradient removal. And I just hopefully helped along to make a lot of it automatic, such that if it even isn't perfect, open that History Explorer, see where it plays those points. If you got to move one because it got stuck with a whole bunch of stars or something, you can go ahead and do that, right? There's, again, no secrets, no black box in my scripts.
That's awesome. Again, that's such great tools and such capability. It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah. So it was a channel member sent me this image and just asked if I could do like a one-shot color processing tutorial. And I've never shot Rho Ophiuchus. And when I first got, this master from him, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be right. Like I don't see anything in this. And then I removed the gradient and I was like, what?
Yep.
Look at all,
look at it all, man. It's great.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I guess quick, this is an easier one to understand. It's my fame script.
Okay.
Everybody is familiar with wrong button. Everybody's familiar with game, right? The game script.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where you can draw your circles and your ellipses, and you try to grab one of those little points, and you can never click it.
Yeah.
If you've ever tried using the multi-point thing,
yep,
it's brutal. You end up with 1,500 points, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm just trying to grab the same one I just had.
And you try grabbing this point here, and you just make another point, and you're like, no, I want that point, and you're like, all that. So I made my own. It was a big ask. Everybody was.
I like yours. I like how yours works.
Yeah. So here it is. You could use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out, and it's you could click and drag to just drag this around, but it's a freehand. So you shift click, and you could drag your thing around, and there it is. There's some other controls. You could even move them around or resize and stuff with them, but it's just a freehand lasso tool. Like, I don't know why.
Like in Photoshop, kind of.
Yeah. It's just a freehand lasso tool.
Such a great.
I mean, you could draw ellipses, right? If you got a galaxy and you want to rotate it and kind of resize it how you want. So that functionality is still in there. And there's some others,
picture, by the way,
like hand and stuff. But
did you take that picture? Yeah, it's beautiful.
I did. It was 32 hours of oxygen, and then 16 hours on everything else: hydrogen, sulfur, and
that would take me about 4 years on Long Island.
Yeah, it was long. I wanted to. We could talk about this image later, but the other thing is, if you or you drew it wrong or something, you could use the space bar and cycle through your shapes, and then you could just use the little undo guy there to
delete the one that's
get rid
highlighted.
of it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
delete the highlighted one. And along with that, I made sure that you had a suite of mask types. So you have your binary, which is just your black and white. It's probably what you use out of game the most. There's a lightness mask where it'll almost look like a grayscale in the mask. There's chrominance where you're only looking at the color data, so you can generate a mask just with that. Or if you want a specific color mask, you could do that here, and I got a drop down for kind of all your base colors. So
That's cool.
if you got like an area where you just wanted to, I don't know, for whatever reason, this is the area you want it, you can just look at the chrominance for it. You hit execute, it's going to go ahead and make your mask, and here's the mask in the background. It keeps it open in case you didn't like the look of that mask. You can go ahead and change the blur or whatever the case may be. Maybe you just want a red, so you can go ahead and just generate the red one out of there. And when you're done, you just close it. So like here's the red just in that freehand area, or here's just the chrominance. So this is all the colors, right? So by the core is dark, it's white, right? There's no color data there. So not only can you be nice and selective on the area, but you could also have really nice mask types. And we all use color masks especially during narrowband season right now, where you're doing a whole bunch of HSO and HOO pictures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing I want to talk about masks is I made a little mask merge script, because sometimes you might have two masks and you want to like just get where they like overlap, or you want to kind of put them together. So really that's what this is. It's really simple. You could have up to 3 masks. You could add them together. You could take the intersection of them. You could subtract them or invert them all. And then there's a little preview button to make sure you know what you're doing. So I'll do all 3 masks. It'll be easier to tell what's going on. If you take the union of all these circles, you get this. You get intersect all the circles, and you just get the little bit in the middle, right? So that's how this tool works. Sometimes you just it comes up. You got 2 masks. You'd like to use really kind of both of them, and that allows you just to put them together quick without having to go into pixel math. You can do it easily in pixel math, but again, I found everybody hates pixel math. So
I don't know if it's a hate of pixel math. I think it's more of like a man, I don't know what the hell I'm doing in pixel math type of thing.
Well, it's just, and trying to remember all the equations exactly,
yeah.
and you're like, oh,
there's only so much the expression editor will do for you.
Right.
I'm a math nerd. I have a pi earring. I have the Greek alphabet on my head.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I guess.
Actually, there's a lot of people in the chat asking about the what's in my image script.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, so what's in my image? I had somebody ask about adding some annotation tools to annotate image, which is PixInsight's annotation tool. There's also a script called TypeCat, where you could search the Sinbad catalog, and then you download an Excel, and then you could load that Excel as a catalog into annotate image. And a lot of the time when you're done with your image, maybe you're saving it out, you're putting it in astrometry.net to plate solve it, and then you're bringing it over to Aladdin to then look for objects in it through Aladdin. I wanted all that functionality in PixInsight. So it's called What's in My Image. You need an astrometric solution on your image to use it, right? and it's going to go ahead and
Play
pull up.
solid.
There's a mini preview down here, so you know where you're at in your image. There's the main preview in the middle here. And what you could do with it on the simple search is shift click and drag to define a circle. And if you just query Sinbad, it's going to go ahead and query Sinbad and find all the stuff in there for you. And wherever you click in here, it'll highlight what it is down in here, and vice versa. Like as you click around in here, it'll highlight there.
Cool.
And then beyond that, if you double click any of them, it's going to pull up the Sinbad catalog for you. So you can know exactly what it is in there. And then if you like that, I did build in a suite of annotation tools. So you can like either tell the distance between two things. You can draw an arrow.
That's unreal.
You could place a celestial compass. You could add text, whatever the text is you want, right? And you could show all the marker names. You could change the font, the color, all that good stuff. And then you can save the image. You can either save the whole image or just save the cropped view of the image. So here, let's clear all this stuff. Let's go ahead and now. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and go over to my other image. I just recently did the cosmic gecko, or whatever you want to call this thing.
Yeah.
But when I first started processing it, I really noticed this X object down here.
Uh-huh.
So, the first thing I did was, back when it was still just like, I don't know, the hydrogen channel or whatever, I threw it in, what's in my image. And you could do it from a linear image. There's a STF stretch, like the auto stretch in here. So you can use it on your linear images when you're looking for stuff. But yeah, the first thing I did was just query Sinbad, like what is this thing? And like, oh, it's emission line star inside this reflection nebula in a Herbig-Haro object. Like this is cool. There's a lot of cool little stuff in there.
That's just cool.
This
is insane.
But I also have an advanced search. So if you click that, it's going to open a whole nother panel for you. And this is all the different types of objects out there. So if you only want to search like the whole image for quasars, you can click quasar, confirm your selection, and query the entire image. And it's gonna look for any quasars in your image. In this one, there's only one. It's right here. But so there's this selection process. But even cooler than doing all that, which is great, is you can query MAST now, which is the archive for Swift, Hubble, JWST, Spitzer, all that. And when I queried MAST, I was like, oh, okay, so they did shoot it. HST Hubble has imaged this object. Awesome. So, you could double click that. It's going to take you to the MAST archive. And normally what I do is I copy the URL out of there and open it in a better browser, because the PixInsight browser is not the best.
Yeah.
Right.
But it'll open up. Here's our area we're looking at. Here's all the different things. You could just click on Hubble. It'll filter it. Here's all the Hubble data, all the filters, everything it's taken on that object, and you can just download it from here. And
That's
so
crazy.
I downloaded the 606 optical, and here's the Hubble raw data of this.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, oh my God, it is this object, right? I geeked out over this so hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, it is
so awesome.
right?
That is crazy.
So I love what's in my image. I think everybody should explore their images when you're done imaging.
Oh
right?
yeah, I'm definitely doing that
Yeah.
for
You
sure.
do a little
And
comparison, right?
like I had somebody, maybe it was on Facebook forum or something, but they were like, why even make this script? Don't you know what's in your image before you image it? And I was like, you know what's in your image before you image it? Like maybe they were thinking, oh, M87, you didn't know you were shooting M87.
Yeah,
No,
the thing of
like,
it, no, everything
this is
inside there,
nitty
right?
gritty down. Yeah, this could really find a lot of stuff for you. And the last bit of search I want to show you with what's in my image is Sinbad is a little restrictive sometimes with just the amount of data they have in there for it. So under the advanced search, again, you can define an area. I have a caution here, but it'll query Vizier, which is a huge catalog. So normally, even on a circle this big, there may be 1,000 hits, depending on where in the sky you're actually pointing it. But even with this, you could double click any of these rows. It's going to pull up the NED database right at that object. And from there, it actually didn't find anything for that one. We'll try a different one. And here, we'll try this one. But the NED database is the kind of the largest database for this kind of stuff. Yeah, here. Then you could just start digging if you really want to dig all the way down on what these things are, and you could open it in the Finder chart, and there's just you could just play with this for a long time.
Oh
my
man,
God,
that's
is
amazing.
awesome.
That is insane.
So how long did it take you to come up with that?
Yeah.
This has been through a number of revisions. I started out with just Sinbad, and then I wanted to be able to incorporate doing all the different things. Like this is perfect, the Andromeda one. So let's go back to that quasar one. Q. Quasars. So we'll search the whole image for quasars. Putting this panel on the side was the next thing that took the next longest to do, and then incorporating these different searches was difficult, because every catalog has its own format of data that it returns to you, right? Like you query the archive, it sends you data back, but the columns are all different for every single catalog. So you got to like tell it how to, look for this column header to find the name, look at this column, and they're all in different places. But like around Andromeda, there's more quasars. But if you find like a redshift, so this one has a redshift of 1.323. There's a really great calculator. It's Ned Wright's JavaScript cosmological calculator, but we know the redshift of this quasar 1.323. We're in a flat universe, so that particular quasar is 13 billion light years away as the co-moving radial distance.
My
right,
God.
the light travel time was just shy of 9 billion years.
Wow.
And that's this little guy right here. If I can find him. There we go. Yep. So it's just cool to. I just that's the kind of stuff I like doing. I like geeking out over this.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's
Just so you know, you're getting some love from Wayne Parker over at SkyShed Observatories. He said hi.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, he's saying he loves the scripts. He loves using them.
Last big one is Blemish Blaster. If we wanted to cover that quick.
Sure.
I think everybody hates Clone Stamp. It sucks.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Not very good.
Yeah, so I made this one. Here's what it's doing. It's when you draw a circle in Blemish Blaster, it's going to draw the 6 tangent circles around it. It's going to calculate which 3 circles most closely match the middle circle. And then pixel by pixel, it's going to take the median of the 3 circles and paint it into the middle one, right? So that way you kind of take the structure of the surrounding area and put it into the middle. And like in this case, like you got some dark areas here. You don't want that to be it. You don't want the brightest area. You really want those close ones. And in Clone Stamp, you're always struggling with that, right? You're trying to find that good match, and you're trying to paint over it, and it's just it sucks.
It's brutal.
So
tell us how you truly feel, Frank.
yeah. So with Blemish Blaster, that's what it's doing. It's gonna find kind of find the tangent circles, and I have a feather and an opacity just like in Clone Stamp, right? And a little diagram to show you kind of what it looks like, and it just does its thing.
And no residual circle.
Yeah, it usually does a pretty good job. And
Yes.
you get, you know, if you gotta adjust the feathering or the opacity, you know it's there, and it has an undo button. And then the other, like, where's this one? Yeah, so here's one where there's like structure around it, right?
Yeah.
And you could right click near any of these to get rid of the circles too, which is useful, right? If you kind of drew it wrong, you could just right click it and it'll go away. So like in this case, I think you'd be hard pressed if I just gave you this image to tell me where the blemish was, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. Yes, it's not scientifically accurate, right? Like we made up structure in there, like to get rid of the blemish. But yeah, there it was. And then,
but that's close to what it should look like. I think. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then the other thing you could do is control click and control click the other end, and you can remove satellite trails with this method. There's a slider for how wide the satellite trail is. It may take a little trial and error, but you just execute it just the same way, and it's gone.
Oh man!
And you know it's not AI, right? So it's not like if you zoom way in, you're going to be able to tell where that was, right? But it's a hell of a lot better than the big ass line through your excuse me, a big line through your image. And then the other thing that really sucked with Clone Stamp is, sorry, you know how I feel about Clone Stamp, is it was restrictive in size. You could only do up to what, 249,
something like that, 250 maybe.
Yeah, there's like no restriction in size, so you could define a big area to try to go for it. And it does take it longer if you define like a really big area, because again, pixel by pixel, it's going through and trying to fix it. Oh, here I got some of that satellite trail in there. So order of operations is important sometimes with this too. If you have, here's a good example. Back to the beginning where we were. If you have like a dimmer blemish next to a bright blemish, or vice versa, you may want to remove one and then the other, especially if they're close, because if you draw this, like if you draw a big circle, and if this other area over here is one that it thinks is close, it may pick that one up, right? Yeah, so that kind of left a ghost of this other one there. So be sure, just to remove the blemishes in a smart order is what I'm trying to say. And I've done it for, and you can do a lot of blemishes. You don't need to just do one at a time like I've been doing. You can go ahead and just do a whole bunch of them. Especially for continuum subtraction, I had a whole bunch of little star pinholes all over the image, and I probably had 100 little circles I drew on there and hit execute, and it'll just go one after another all the way through the script and remove them. And then when you're done, be sure to click apply to the main image. And then so it operates everything in the script. And then when you're ready, then you click apply to the main image and it pushes that down to the main image. So it's just one thing done on your main image. Very similar to Clone Stamp where you had the undos and stuff. But
yeah.
So that's how Blemish Blaster works. It's again, it's not like an AI tool where it's going to be guessing at what should be behind it, like star removal and stuff. It does take the surrounding area and put it in the center to come up with what it thinks the content should be. So you may have to play with the feathering or the opacity or something like that, but having it all in the script and having it back and forth and being able to just go for it, I found this. I don't use Clone Stamp anymore.
Yeah, I could imagine.
So that's the main scripts. I'm coming out with more. I put out a little signal to noise ratio script a little while ago. It's just a smaller script, and I'm constantly using the community to send me script ideas, tell me what's not working, what additions they'd like to see. It's really community driven on what content I've been able to do, and a lot of it's built because I needed the help too, and having a nice script would be great for a lot of this, right? So
Yeah.
We always do. We say, we invent because of necessity, right? So,
yeah.
There's a need, somebody comes up with it, and it's just nice to see that. Like I said at the beginning, that there's so many other people that are doing this and contributing to Pix Insight to make it that much better.
And I mean, serious, a free hand lasso tool. They could have made this thing.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
they
doing
could.
anything magical here. But yep,
there you go.
That's the script overview. I think I may have went a little long with time, but
no, you're fine. You're
fine.
Yeah, all right.
No, this show could last up to 3 hours, to be honest with you. But
well, we all know if Wayne Parker was on, it'd be 3 hours.
I'd be careful. Wayne's in. Well, leave Wayne alone. He's in the chat. He's a good.
I know. That's why I said that.
I know. So, Wayne's a great guy, man.
We love Wayne.
One last thing for any hardcore real photographers out there: continuum subtraction. I do have a whole script for that automates that whole process. So be sure to check that out too.
Cool.
Okay. All right, Mom.
Nice. So, what are we doing? Continuum subtraction.
Yeah, I was just gonna run one of them here. That one's called Triangulum. Right. Yeah. I got so many things open on this.
I see.
Yeah, if you've never done continuum subtraction or you thought it was too bit of a daunting task to try to do it, anytime you take RGB data, I recommend taking narrowband too and just running continuum subtraction and seeing what's in your image. That's how all those new structures that us amateurs are finding. I don't like calling any of us amateurs. We're like citizen astronomers, right?
Yeah.
But that's how all these the O3 arc over Andromeda, all these supernova remnants, planetary nebula, all those things are through continuum subtraction. And so like here is the pure hydrogen signal in Triangulum. There's no continuum this at all. This is all the hydrogen, and this is what you would be screening back into like your red channel and stuff. But it's it's just it just took it all out. This is non-linear. It's ready to go. It's
Wow.
Noise was already reduced. It did all of it. So
That's awesome.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, Ernie said that this is.
yeah. So any questions? I guess.
I mean,
I've been
everybody's
talking
sitting
a
there
lot.
saying how many Mike Gibbs. I've been putting comments. I don't know if you've been able to see them, but
I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah, a lot of them are just saying thank you for everything, and many people use this. I mean, we got about what do we got? People watching. We have 30 people
30?
watching now, and a lot of them use your scripts, including myself. Josh had a question just now and said, "What's next?"
Yeah, what is next?
Right now I'm just trying to clean up some other improvements in like Blemish Blaster, trying to get like a correct star option in there, since after SCTs especially have really bad stars in the corners.
Yep.
Just to help tighten those back up, even after Blur Exterminator, there's a lot that can be done with that. And I know like my zooming in and out on the scripts is clunky at best. Again, I'm not in software development. This is my entry into JavaScript, right? Like doing these scripts. So still doing just a lot of cleanup. So as ideas come out, just feel free to email me, just stuff. Something big that would take a lot of work, but is probably needed too, is a better layering tool. I know we have like Combine Image and a few others in Jurgen's toolbox, but to have a better, like, being able to utilize layers and stuff like that would be great. I think that might be beyond my pay grade here, but just trying to help out where I can. And I think since April, when I first started doing this, we've built up a nice little suite of scripts to help you from the very beginning all the way to looking for those quasars in your image when you're done.
Okay. Yeah, that's
so
pretty cool.
Yeah, Mikey mentioned the narrowband RGB stars. That script's amazing.
Oh, yeah. So with narrowband RGB stars, you just find your stars. I had H alpha. If you got an O3, if you have sulfur, you could use that too. If you have a one-shot color camera that you've used like a dual band filter in, you could just drop that into this particular drop down, and then you could apply the star stretch right in it too. So it'll just run through, combine all the channels for you. And
it's amazing
you'll be done.
how true the color comes out. It's
it's awesome.
Yeah, I made it for me mostly than anything. I'm glad you guys like it.
I love it because I shoot mostly in narrowband as well.
Yeah,
as
me
Dan,
too.
And it's like, now I don't have to worry about doing a bunch of RGB.
Yeah, I made a couple videos. You're wasting your valuable time. Just keep going narrowband. And I shoot mostly when I'm doing like recently. I've been just using my Orion 120 ST refractor, which is a doublet. It's a fast doublet, and even though I shoot mono with separate RG and B filters, the B filter is all those stars are super bloated. So I never use my RGB star data. I just chuck it. So I needed a way to make narrowband stars look like RGB stars. I needed this. So that this was for me. I'm glad other people use it.
It's
use
amazing.
it constantly. I mean, I have
and it works great.
Dave and I are in really badly light polluted skies. I mean, Dave's outside of Washington. I'm 20 miles away from Manhattan, and it's
So you're narrowband hardcore all the way.
And I don't know how this new project is going to work out with the what is it, the F4 Carbon Star with the color cam, but I'm gonna give it a shot and see if I could do
I
something.
mean, you could do shorter exposures. But,
Well,
yeah,
that's
it's
all I
still
could
gonna-
do anyway. Even with RGB, I'm still shooting
Yeah.
short anyway.
Yeah, with my refractor, I shoot f4.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So it's
Okay.
yeah. The RGB, the most I'll do is 3 minutes on separate
Yep.
RGB channels, just because it's already well off the floor. I
Yep.
can probably go 2-minute exposures and be just as good.
Yeah, I just do
I
2
guess that's a
minutes.
plug. Hey, looking out there, if anybody has a used 10-inch f4 Newton that they want to,
I know you're
sell,
looking for
I'm
one.
in the market.
Yeah, I can do.
Um,
I'm in Bortle 7, and I can do up to 5. With my refractors. I haven't done any RGB with my Newtonian, so that's f3.9. So I haven't done any of that with it yet. I would guess that I probably would be only doing 3 at the
2.
max, 2 to 3 at the
Yeah,
most.
yeah, that's kind of. I'm like Bortle 6, and that's what I find. Narrowband, I go 15-minute exposures, but
yeah, I
RGB,
can do anywhere
really low.
between 5 and 15. 15 now with my new mount.
With the Warp
new,
Astron, right?
Yeah, with the Warp Astron, it'll take 15 minutes and no streaks at all. It
There you
works
go.
great.
There you go.
Well, that's it on my end, guys. I know I got a polar align still.
Oh, jeez. Polar. And so no, that's just getting dark over where you are. So it's just getting dark. So
I'm gonna my scope's gonna slew in about 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get a beer.
Yeah. I just what
Eric
is it?
showed up.
Just finished up before I had left. I was working on the Dark Shark, and which is my unicorn. I can never get the Dark Shark right. I don't know what it is, but
Well, there's a guy here, Frank. He's got some great tools that might help you with
I
it.
know. I've been in between, catching up with family and everything. I've been trying to listen in and stuff like that. So good to see you, Frank. And thanks for really hopping on and joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
No problem, guys.
The Dark Shark
Chris,
is the one for me.
Chris Frickson had a question about, how do you make ends meet doing all this? I mean, is there some place people can, contribute to your cause or anything like that?
Yeah. On my site, SetiAstro.com, there's an About Me and Donations button. You can click that and scroll down. That's the best way if you feel so inclined to contribute. I do have YouTube channel memberships. I think it's only like $3 a month, just to join the community. And if you do join YouTube memberships, I put all my master data on Google Drive, so you can have access to all my master data if you want to play around with my data. And then as I'm coming out with scripts, I have they're the beta testers. I let them play around with my scripts as I'm working on them.
Nice.
Cool.
And,
awesome. That's good to know.
Josh wants to know if these scripts are on GitHub.
So the repository is based on GitHub. The scripts themselves, you can either get them standalone from my website. There's zip files that you in it, but the easiest way by far is just use the repository link in PixInsight and just do the normal update process.
Gotcha.
Because they all kind of end up from that main repository site, right?
Yeah.
So as you come out with new ones, they're all added in. Yeah, that's right.
And I update regularly. I pushed a small update out today, so I'm always trying to tweak and do those. So it wouldn't surprise you if every other day you get an update message from me.
Well, that's good,
That's awesome.
because things change constantly in this endeavor
I
that
did
we've
have
always
somebody
done.
ask me, like, why don't you just wait for like a month and do one push out? And I'm like, if somebody emails me with a bug, why would I wait a month to fix it? Right? Why don't I just push it out and fix it?
Yeah. Address it as you find them, right?
Yeah.
Josh is saying he's into writing in scripts and wants to know if he could, I guess, contribute or help maybe make suggestions, I guess, and script writing.
Yeah. Frank@SetiAstro.com is my email.
Okay.
If you got suggestions or comments or anything like that, just shoot me an email.
There you go.
I'm pretty responsive.
Yes, you are. I can vouch for that.
Yeah. So Frank, I do have a question. You mentioned that you're working on a signal to noise ratio script. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Here, I might as well just show it.
Oh, sure.
It's in the. It's already in the suite. So if you have the repository, it'll already be in it. It's just object signal to noise ratio calculator. Oh, and it'll warn you right away. You need 2 previews. So unlike the image analysis SNR tool, which is here, that thing measures the SNR of like the whole image. It's a holistic view of pretty much the stellar SNR. That's not helpful. When you're measuring objects, you have to measure an object, right? You can't measure the whole SNR of an image because the SNR changes across the entire image.
Yep.
So what this does is you define two preview areas. So like here's preview 1. That's going to be what I want to measure the SNR of, but you need another preview as well. You need a background. So you got to do another preview because the signal itself that you want to measure, let's say in this galaxy, has not only the signal, but it also has the background of the sky in it as well. Yep. So you have to subtract that out first, and then you could run the actual SNR. So once you have your 2 previews, you can go object SNR. It only looks for previews, which is helpful if you got a billion images open like I do right now. But you just the selected signal of interest region and then the background region, you click calculate SNR and it dumps it out for you right there. That's it. It's simple.
That's awesome.
But it does what you're supposed to do. And there's a like some good rules of thumb. The actual signal is here, right? That's at 6.3 times 10 to the first. So that's a 63 as a numerical number. The dB I put in there just because a lot of these things have it in dB for whatever reason. But an SNR of 2 to 5 is barely detectable. An SNR of 10, you could start doing okay. So these are ESO guidelines. So if you're doing professional work, 2 to 5 barely detectable. An SNR of 10, you could start doing measurements. 50 is ideal, and 100 is considered excellent. So it doesn't surprise you that near the core of a galaxy here, you have an SNR of 63. You could use this then to actually make measurements. And here we'll just open up like.
Does this work on linear data or just non-linear?
All of it. You should do it in the linear.
I didn't know if
you
had to, if it had to be stacked or not.
No. So if you have like a single frame, you can you can open the single frame, take an SNR measurement. It's going to probably be low, right, wherever you're looking, but that could be your guide as to how many exposures you want to get to some SNR. Just take take the square root of the target SNR. Let's say you want an SNR of 10. Your single sub had an SNR of like 0.1, let's say.
Right.
Divide those two, you're going to get 100.
So you need 100 images to get it to 10.
That'd be 20.
No, it's worse.
1,000.
Yeah, you need it 10, 1,000, right? Or 10,000, 100 squared.
Oh,
if you want it, right? Because SNR goes by the square root. So if you're going backwards, you got to square it. But like here's we'll just open it for this one. This is before noise reduction, right? Preview 1, preview 2. Yeah, so this has an SNR of 11, right? So after we did noise reduction, then it jumped up because
60.
It took it took care of the noise, and then just to show you that it really is sensitive to that. Like you could if you run like convolution, which just blurs the image, right? Make the image blurry, because that will also get rid of noise. You just blur the hell out of it. We'll go ahead and do it again. And now it's 99, right? So signal doesn't necessarily mean
good data,
sharp, clear image, right?
Right.
Signal is going to be higher when it's kind of blurred and stuff, right? Because the noise floor is lower. That's why, same reason why big pixels, right? I know a lot of these CMOS cameras got real tiny pixels now, but with larger pixels, you're going to have better SNR because of the same phenomena.
That's great.
So yeah, that's already in there. You can play around with it.
That's awesome.
Seti Astro scripts object SNR calculation.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Very cool. Listen, it's been really awesome having you on with us tonight, man. It's been a lot of great learning about all the scripts and all the stuff that's coming up. Everybody is saying what a great job that you do, and you're getting a whole lot of love in the chat. So
for sure.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and I think you got a couple of people that joined the YouTube channel. I saw a couple people jump in there.
I'll be joining.
Yep.
We definitely do that. Well, thanks, guys. I'm gonna have to head off. My little kids got school in the morning, and I gotta get their bedtime routine going now.
No, that's awesome. But look for an email. I'm gonna hit you up for Astropalooza in December. Maybe we can get you on.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, you do.
Well,
listen.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No, thanks again for hanging out with us.
Hey, Frank, thanks for coming in. It was awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, Frank. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye.
There you go.
All right. So what's up, guys? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Change this up a little bit. Give me a second.
Little jet lagged. Little turbulent of a ride. But
where are you at?
I'm in Texas. I'm just outside of Dallas, visiting my parents.
I totally forgot, man. If you told me. So
yeah.
That guy Frank is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he is like him and
Russ.
You're like Bill Blanchard. You got
him, Bill Blanchard, and
Russell Croman.
Russell Croman and Adam Block. Between the four of them, good Lord. I mean, Pixel Sight's in good hands with those four guys.
It is.
Yep.
It is. And it's something that he just, like he was explaining, that he enjoys doing. He sees a need, and he wants to address the need to help everybody else out, help the community out, which I really appreciate.
Oh my God, right? It's so awesome.
So yeah.
Really is cool. Really is cool.
So I just joined. I just joined his YouTube.
Nice.
There you go.
I'll give him $3 a month. What the hell?
Yeah.
There you go,
he probably deserves more than that. I'll probably go to his website.
Oh yeah.
Drop some money on him too. I mean, that's just amazing what he does.
Which one is that there?
That's the cheapie. That's the Uranus C.
The Uranus C. Okay.
But it's gonna go. I just got the Carbon Star today, so.
Oh, nice.
Canada was great. I had a really good time. The weather was for shit, though. I mean, the clouds from the what was left over of that hurricane was not good for imaging. Apparently, the days Tuesday, well, the 2 days before I got there, probably was the best night. So that's at least that's what I heard. But you know, I got 0 minutes of data, 0.
Zero.
So it looks like hey, listen, you know, I had a great time, hung out with Sean and Ron and their families, and you know, Sean right now is at a Duran concert, so he could, you know.
Oh, nice.
Is he really?
Yeah, he really is. So I was kind of annoyed I didn't stay an extra night. I would have gone. But you know, I got to catch up with Trevor and Ashley. So that was nice. Spoke with them for a while. Pegasus was there this year. So Evans from Pegasus was there. So we were able to
I've been in
see.
communication. I've been in communication with George because there's an issue with my Uranus. So he's been helping me out.
With your Uranus.
You have an issue with Uranus?
Some support. With support. He's with the support team.
With Player One?
No, with Pegasus.
Oh, oh no, but we were talking about this Uranus, and then you jumped to Pegasus Uranus.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Pegasus.
No, okay.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Oh, that's your weather station, right?
Yeah, the Meteo.
Little weather station. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, oh, we played music
never a good
quite
thing
a bit.
if you have a problem with your Uranus.
No, we played a lot of music. Wait for those videos. We did a couple of videos with that Sean's putting it together. So
nice.
Yeah, so we played music for like hours.
Good.
At Ron's house in his garage. It was like the old garage band.
Yeah. Your Facebook message thread was hilarious.
Which one?
Your messenger thread. All you guys with Jason.
What did I do? I don't even remember. What did I do?
The video or the audio messages you guys were sending back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was on the admin's channel. That was that wasn't for general public consumption. I mean,
that was hysterical. I'm sitting there listening to all that, but I'm up in Michigan with my buddies, and they're all like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, don't ask. This is off the rails as you can get."
Oh yeah, we were me, Sean, and Tyler were going freaking nuts.
Oh, Tyler, that's what it was. Yeah. Oh my God, it was so funny.
Getting the band back together.
Yeah.
We're on a mission from God.
God, exactly. So here I'll be here in Texas until Sunday.
Okay.
Hanging out with my dad and my stepmom. And
how's your dad doing? Good.
He's doing good. So I'm gonna take him to while I go play a round of golf on Friday.
With your new clubs or with?
Unfortunately, well, I've got two of my new clubs, but all of my irons they're delayed by FedEx. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm using my old ones.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
I'm telling you, maybe next summer, man, we go for a round. You can make fun of me.
Sure.
You can make fun of me all day.
Same here.
Yeah.
And then
is there pictures of the week up this week, or?
You know what? There was only one entry. There was only one entry.
I was going to put a beginner's entry in for my 4-second exposure with my cell phone on the Milky Way arch.
Yeah.
Anybody get any Aurora?
No, you know what? I could have where I was last week, but I was with like 7 friends of mine, and by the time I'd have to get up in the morning to and observe it, yeah, there was no getting up. I was pretty passed out at that point.
What about did we do last week's, Eric? Did you put that up?
I did not put it up, but I will. But I can't announce it. Let me
Who was the winner?
Yeah, let me do that here. Let me just set it up here and make the announcement at least.
Sure.
Yeah, I was so bummed being up there in that northern peninsula of Michigan, Fordle, 2.5, 3 skies.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, I wish I'd brought my equipment. It was perfect.
Yeah, going up to the UP and all that. I remember.
You ever been up that way, Eric? That's not far from
Mackinac.
you.
Yeah, I've been to Mackinac.
So we were in Leland. So Leland,
okay.
Oh my God, it was beautiful. Went up to Sleeping Bear Dunes. Holy cow, it's gorgeous.
Nice.
Okay,
the water looks like you're in the Caribbean.
Nice.
I bet. We had 18 votes, so pretty
going
low.
down the toilet.
But let me share my screen here really quick and share.
I sent out a reminder for everybody to vote.
Yeah, so for Image of the Week last week, 18 votes, and our winner was for the experience bracket. Ernie, M8 and M20.
Ernie Jacobs.
Oh yeah, that was a great image, Ernie. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, one. So I'll go ahead and I'll drop that in onto the website here shortly. So at least we can get that out there. And yeah, there was only one entry for Image of the Week for this week. And if I go there to experience, yeah, it was Starlancer.
Oh, Jason.
Yeah, Jason's Crescent. So I'll,
Jason, so that's what I'm shooting tonight. Jason, couldn't wait. We can have a head-to-head.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I don't know if you guys have seen, you guys have probably seen my wizard that I posted.
Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, especially it was a lot of fun doing this.
Oh, cool.
Doing the whole Harry Potter bit.
Patterns. Yeah.
Yeah, the different colors. Of the cool. Gryffindor and Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Slytherin and Hufflepuff.
Wait, Slytherin looks like it's like hollow in the middle.
Because it's evil. Slytherin's evil.
I know what Slytherin is, but I mean, like these, you can see the background of the web page.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, kind of.
I think it's because you've got the whatchamacallit.
Is it the green screen?
I think you've got the green screen on, and right now, since I don't have the green screen.
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me do that. Do this. Do this. No.
And cut.
So
there it is.
Yeah, so there you go.
The green. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Good. So yeah, so Hufflepuff and Slytherin, and my house, I put mine first. So Ravenclaw and Gryffindor.
Of course you did.
So with it, absolutely, I'm gonna, So it's something I've always wanted to do, but I've never had the technique or a way to figure it out. And I just started, really working within Pix Insight and figuring it out with the hues and the saturation and color hues. So it all worked out pretty well.
Cool.
So
looks good, man.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. So let me go ahead and stop that. But yeah, So yeah, congratulations there, Ernie, and thanks, Jason, for entering. And you're going to be automatically moving up, of course.
Yep.
And don't forget Friday. So there won't be an announcement on Friday because We just made it for Jason because he was the only one on.
Yep.
But don't forget Saturday. I've got it ready to roll right now, so it should be ready to roll and go live for the poll, at least for the entries. So everybody can enter for next week and stuff like
Gotcha.
that. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I don't think I'll be online. I don't think I'll be on the show on Friday.
Right.
But you guys will have everything set, so be ready to roll.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, fellas. Well, I'm still recovering too from my travels. So
yeah.
I didn't get home till like 9. I left at 9. I didn't get home till 8:30.
Today?
No, last night.
Oh, last night. Okay.
But I met when I went over the bridge. I met Pete Poole from Masters of Pix Insight.
Okay.
For lunch. Me and Pete are good friends. So
nice.
So went to his house. Stayed at Ron's for 2 nights. Stayed at Sean's for 4 nights, and then and came home. Had a good time.
Nice.
We made a good overview video. You know what I'm looking for? For those of you guys that are out there that have the, if you have the RGB, the Tri RGB filter, I'm looking for some photos of people that have used it, finished stacked photos of make sure that halos and stuff are gone. So I'm looking for pictures. If you have any, please send them to me. I'd like to use them in an upcoming video.
Don't forget, everybody, before you leave, to give us, if you like this show, don't forget, give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. We're trying to get more and more people on and guests on. And the more we get as far as likes and stuff like that, we can share this information. And then YouTube can blast it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and comment.
So the more
comment
likes
below.
we get, and definitely comment on how we're doing here. So I think tonight's show was fantastic. Great information. I use Frank's scripts a lot now. So a lot of these images that I've been doing recently, I have incorporated Frank's scripts. So they are well worth it. And, definitely check out his YouTube page, subscribe to his page or join and send him, maybe consider a donation to help him out.
Absolutely.
Sure.
It's just the $3 on his channel.
And what's nice, he went a little more into depth on the show than he does in his videos, I think, and it really kind of explains it a little better. And really great information.
Yeah, it's a really good stuff. And if you guys think of anybody that comment below, you just hit the comment. You can't comment.
Yep.
Not till you go to the replay.
Not till you go to the replay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You got to do it on the replay. But yeah, go in after the show and comment. Say, hey, you guys suck.
Yeah.
No,
if you haven't watched this, you need to watch it.
Yeah. So and if you have any ideas on any future guests that you guys might want to have on, let me know, because I'm looking for more guests. I'm constantly looking for not the same old group. We've been on for 5 years, so we've had a bunch of guests already, multiple times.
Keep dreaming, Tom. Keep dreaming.
Oh man, I haven't sent a letter in a long time, but maybe it's
that guy ain't got time for us.
Nope.
Yeah, but so I'm gonna actually call it. So it's been
you ain't the only one, man. I got my pizza waiting for me outside.
Yeah, but I messaged you. I was talking to Tom Bramwell about a Senso.
Yep.
So yeah, just I was using the EAF, with my Dark Shark, and it could be my seeing conditions. It could very be the seeing conditions, but my HFR, I think is just way too high for what I'm shooting and my setting, and I've got everything. With I swapped out I'm using a refractor.
Okay.
I put up the FLT91.
Okay.
And I'm getting in and my HFR was averaging in the 4s.
Yeah, that's no good. That's no good.
That's not right.
And that's what focuser?
That's what the EAF.
That's That's expected. I mean,
Yeah, so that's why,
depending on your
just let
seeing,
me
if you're in still seeing, you probably get a little lower. But I mean,
Right.
when you have a what is it, a 10 micron focuser as opposed to
Exactly.
a 0.7 micron focuser, you're gonna get
These are things to expect.
So like right
Because-
now I'm getting 303 on the Carbon Star with the EAF.
well, I expect a little
See.
higher with the Newt, as opposed to if you had a 150 a 6-inch refractor or a 5-inch refractor, I expect it to be a little bit high. I'm normally, and even in my seeing, I'm normally in like 2.8, 2.7.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
With my refractor. I can't wait to see what I just ordered the low profile.
When I have my when I do my GT81 with the Nightcrawler on it, I usually am down to like 230.
So you're going to use the Sato. You're not going to use the Sesto
or
Sesto
what?
Senso for the your Carbon Star for your Newtonian.
No, I'm doing the Sesto Senso for the Newtonian, and I'm using the
you are
low profile for the Edge.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
right.
That's okay. That makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we forgot you had an Edge. Sorry, we
Dude,
forgot.
I went crazy. I went nuts. I went nuts. Oh, by the way, Eric, it's a 9 1/4 too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shut up.
Shut up, Dan.
Shut up, Dan.
Just send me an invoice for the Sesto Senso so Tom can send it to me.
Oh yeah, no problem.
But yeah, it's just I've used the EAF. It works, but I think I can just it's just one of these things. You start graduating.
Yeah.
And it's just basically what it is. You're graduating to slightly better equipment. Not knocking ZWO at all. It's a great focuser for what it is, but you get better and your equipment gets better. Stuff like that. There's just like me just buying these golf clubs. I've had one set of golf clubs now for over 25 years.
Yep.
But I'm getting better with certain things, so it's time for me to get a new set.
I went the opposite way. I shot blades for about 8 years, and then I stopped playing. I said, "Whoops, got to go to offsets."
Oh God.
It ain't working for me no more. I ain't got the torque with this belly anymore. So
no, I hear you. I hear you.
I don't know. I don't know who put that rumor out there. I will not be at Chiefland in a couple of weeks. Although I will be a door prize donor. So I will not be in Chiefland, Matt. So if that's out there, I apologize. I'm not there.
Where's Chiefland?
Florida.
Oh, okay. Are you going to what do you call it?
I got tickets to Black Forest.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it. You know what? I'm just so I standing out in the cold for 30-degree weather, and it just
but it's
sucks.
Early September. It could be 100.
No, not in the middle of Pennsylvania.
It might be. You never know.
I do know. I've been going there for 25 years. I do know. It is not ever going to be 100 at 3 o'clock in the morning in September in the middle of the Black Forest. At the most, it'll probably be in the high 40s.
Okay, rent an RV or something.
Well, I tried doing that, right? But to drop one in there, they want 2 weeks. 2 weeks out to cancel.
Oh wow, okay.
So I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, Matt, we'll definitely be there. We'll be there in spirit. You'll be getting 2 $100 gift certificates from me. So that'll happen.
Let's see. Yeah.
What are you looking at?
No, I'm just looking at my current location. I was kind of curious to see what it looks like right now.
You don't know where you are?
No, I know where I'm at.
Yeah, when I was up in Michigan, it was great. I'd pull up the Clear Outside app.
Yep.
And instead of seeing the red bar, class 7 Bortle, I'd go to current location and it came up class 3 Bortle and it was blue. And I'm like going, oh my God.
Yeah.
I wish
these
I
are the
equipment.
moments. Yeah. These are the moments like exactly. I wish I had my equipment because I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's like, man, if I only had my equipment. But down here in Texas, I mean, heck, it's 90. It's right now it's 91 degrees. So.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's Texas though. That's not the middle of
too hot. Too hot.
Real hot. So. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I'm hopping off.
Yeah, me too. It's time to
all right,
eat.
Eric.
And
we'll see you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
Dave,
I'll see you
Dave,
guys.
you gonna be on Friday or no?
Yeah, I'll be here Friday.
All right, cool.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
You know what?
You guys have a great
8
rest of the week.
o'clock. Yeah, I should be here Friday. I got a golf tournament. Starts at noon, but I should be home by the 8. Yeah.
All right, cool.
So yeah.
All right.
I'll
take care,
guys.
guys.
As soon as
Hey,
I get home.
say hi to the fam. Get home safe.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah,
Take
definitely.
care.
All right.
Safe travels.
Later, guys. Have a good night, everybody.
Later.
See ya.
Later. Pieces.
Peace.
The buttons aren't working.
All right, Dano. I will
Hold on.
get this sent out to you.